Tā kiri ko te ata, kōrihi ko te manu, ka ao, ka awatea, tihei Māori ora. Ko Tiana Alesana ahau, te kai hautu o te ahu o te reo ki te tauihu. Ahu tia te whakaaro, ahu tia te kōrero, mai te kore, ki te pō, ki te ao mārama. The 6th of February, an important day for all three of us, the day that we brought moko back to our whānau. I don't remember a lot of the details of the day, but what were some of the things that you guys remembered?
For me, I remember it just all falling into place. We'd been dreaming about getting our moko for years now. Then we had the bro, Tamarai Hania, just messaged 3 weeks before that date saying, hey, I'm coming up on Waitangi weekend, do you know anyone that wants some moko? And that for me felt like it was supposed to be him. He tohu, yeah.
I was actually quite surprised at how many of my whānau had showed up, given that it was a Sunday, you know, Hati Moramona, go to church, but they all went to church and they all came up there, and I was, it was really nice to have them all.
When you were receiving your taonga, was like real emotional for all of your whānau there?
Tāmoko is definitely a taonga that's been lost for generations in our whānau, and I think a little bit of it is to do with the influence of the church, but I think even prior to that there's not very many recorded Ngāti Koata people who, you know, mau moko kanohi, even back in the days. Well, not that we're aware of anyway. So I think that aspect was quite emotional for them. I remember lying on the table and all I could hear over the ngee of the needle was my mum just going I was like, oh. So that was, yes, it was nice to have her there, absolutely.
I just remember that feeling of sitting up and like, I don't know, it was like you were literally born again. Like, it was like, I know I wasn't, but I'm a different person. I just remember that feeling.
I think we're lucky with the technology available to us. It's allowed us to, like, we have the photographers, we have the live stream, but we also, we have the video that Neo made for us, and it captures that whole day in such different ways. I think, ko wai mari e mātou, tātou, e ra, momo.
Because I think about like when we were younger, we used to muck around, like draw mokos on each other's faces and stuff. Like, I feel like that was like the start of the idea. All of that, like, I just feel like that was the start of like, oh, actually this is, like, maybe we should get our moko. Like wearing a moko now, what are some of the reactions that you've had because of your moko?
Oh, I don't know. It's been, the reactions have been quite varied. Mostly positive. But you certainly feel the double takes when you walk past someone and they go particularly in America, I felt that was like I could feel people staring more when we were in America for Christmas as opposed to people here. And initially it was really weird, but now I just stare back at them. They stare at me as yes.
What about in the netball community? Like, how was that taken?
Yeah, really positively. Yeah. I mean, tattoos in the netball scene are probably not the norm, but I think back to the likes of people like Sulu and Erina Makaere and things like that who wear, although they're different kind of markings on their body, I think it kind of had eased the way for something as what could be considered as drastic as a tamoko to kind of be normalised in those spaces. Heaps of positive feedback from the netball community, which is great. But then there's always those haters, those keyboard warriors who send you those private messages and what are you doing with that on your face? Yeah, but water off a duck's back.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how I haven't had any negative comments, or I've had double takes obviously in public, but I haven't had any negative comments towards me, which I'm pleasantly surprised with. I think the only one that comes to mind is when we were in Australia. Even though in Australia everyone was pretty positive. I don't know if it's because we were in the Gold Coast, and you know, there's a lot of Māoris. Yeah. But it was actually someone from New Zealand in the Kuru Lounge that came up to me and asked, I just want to ask you about your moko, because I had another Māori that worked here, and she said she had to go and mihi to an elder that was in here because she had a moko. So I just want to know, are you an elder? And I was like, huh?
I was sitting there like,
I was like, wow, no, I'm not an elder. And then me and Tom had this kind of like discussion of what moko means, and and then she goes, and then I said, oh, you know, wahine females, their moko is usually on their chin, and males have it over their whole face. And she goes, oh, what did she say?
Aren't we in 2023? Shouldn't there be equality? Yeah.
So hopefully sometime soon females can also have the rest of their face with moko. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I think...
People shouldn't comment on things that they have no idea about.
Yeah, and I think it was, it is a job for Jermaine Cummings. For any New Zealand, I think no matter, because they're such a well-known New Zealand company who preach a lot of Te Reo Māori, tikanga Māori in their practices, that you'd hopefully have a discussion with staff, especially the staff at the front, to be more culturally aware.
Yeah, I think
when discussing moko.
Some of like the reactions in Wairu are very different to the ones in Nelson. Like you sort of get a stare. I've had that a couple of times, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like it might be more of a conservative view, particularly from like the older generation. So it was an older couple that slowed down in their car as I was walking across the road. I'm like, this is... Yeah, Te Atapo felt it. She was like, this is the first time she had felt, you know, like, because we do so much mahi together, that was the first time she felt like, oh, someone's having a negative reaction to your moko. I also talked to Tiana about how I feel like, because I got a moko, everyone's like, ooh, tohunga.
Oh yeah, oh, do you want fire? I'm like, no, I'm younger than you. How much fire?
And all the random ones who want to come up and have a hongi.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, it's like, it's real random, eh? Like all of a sudden you got mana, because you got a moko.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you listen before? Wearing moko, and like, you know, well, my son got his first tāmoko that day. But what do you think are some of the influences, particularly us three having on the next generation that want to have moko? Like, what do you think are the potential influences?
You know what, I was talking to our other whanaunga hamu, because I was talking about, oh, you know, there's a few of us now that have moko, but I feel like you were the first one out of our generation that brought moko back to Te Tauihu. But then he mentioned Cairo actually got his moko maybe 9 months before him. And I think as the trend is, Te Tauihu usually lags behind in like what Te Ao Māori have been doing for a longer period than what we have. And so, you know, Te Ao Māori in general has been doing a huge revitalisation, reclamation of moko, especially moko kanohi, and to know, like, even the influence of our video that we put up on Instagram, how many of our taiohi shared that, and we're so proud of us to, you know, be one of the first ones that they knew to mow moko. I think it's going to be a positive impact to know that it's normal, he Māori noiho, te mow moko. ahakoa ko wai, ahakoa, ngā o tau, tō pakeke, ka taia koe, mena he toto Māori tau. Ka taia.
Yeah, tātou ka tōna kōrero. I think it will have a positive effect too. And I think it will remove some of those stigmas about, you having to achieve X, Y, Z. A,
Me
B, C,
arero,
D,
Reo Māori.
Yeah.
All of those.
Which in turn I think it will make it more desired, more accessible, and I think we'll see a resurgence of it in Te Tauihu, even greater than what it is at the moment.
That's probably a really good place to go to too, is me arero Māori te tangata maumoko. Like, is that a thing to you personally?
Kia nei, e hara ko te reo Māori anake te mea e Māori ai koe. I say to my tauira all the time, each and every person has their passions, has their purpose, and yours might be toi Māori, yours might be raranga, yours might be te reo Māori, yours might be waiata, te mea. But as long as you are giving back to te ao Māori, as well as, embracing te ao Māori, embracing your whakapapa, kia mōhio mai ko waikoe, I don't believe that you have to be speaking Māori to mai moko.
Ko te menu ki a hau, ko te whakapapa, nā koe Māori ai, kaua ko tō arara Māori anake, engari, I still think...
Me ngana.
Ai, me ngana koe ki te...
Whai tō reo.
Ai. E hara i te mea me mata tau koe, engari me ngana.
Yeah, I think that's a big one for me, is be on the huarahi, because, well, tau toko ngā kaupapa,
Yeah, tētahi kaupapa Māori.
Haunga ko te reo, there's so many other ways that you can be involved in te ao Māori. And I think that's the key one, is don't just get a moko and then, now Māori. It's, well...
You've got to know your Māori before you go and seek out this Tonga, right?
Yeah, well, and even just, it could be the catalyst to you getting involved in kaupapa Māori, but don't just get the moko and then be like, oh, yep, sweet, now Māori. Because, wearing a moko is you're an ambassador of te ao Māori. Pretty much you're like the walking billboard of te ao Māori if you know moko. And so I think at least be on the kaupapa or on a kaupapa on a huarahi. Because otherwise, and it happens because people are like, oh, so can you do can you lift the rahui? No, I'm not a karakia person. No, it's not my jam. I'm not the tohinga karakia. You need to find someone else. Just because it's got a moko, I think, and so those sort of questions will come up too. The last sort of big question before we get into a couple of other sort of minor questions is because we're now perceived as like billboards of te ao Māori, what do you think, he hanga haipapa kei runga i a tātou te hunga mau moko? Like, what are our responsibilities as a person that ka mau tēnei taonga?
Ka reriki mai a tangata. I think, as being tangata whenua here in Te Tauihu, we've always had responsibilities to our people. I think for me, moko has just been a reaffirming taonga of who I am and what I can give to our people. Because it's been over a year now that we've had our moko, and I felt more settled in myself with who I am and settled in, the taonga that I can share with our people. But I feel like that haipapa's always been there.
Yeah, tautoko e nā kōrero. I don't think because you get a moko on your face that the responsibilities that you have changed. Those responsibilities have always been there. I think they probably come to the forefront a bit more now that you do wear moko, but I don't think it's a matter of once you receive your taonga, then the responsibility starts. The responsibility to our people and to our reo, to kaupapa Māori starts long before you receive the taonga on your face.
Sweet. Well, to end us this afternoon, I'm going to do some quick fire questions. Quick, no thinking.
Good luck.
Hangi boil up.
Hangi.
Fried bread rewana.
Fried bread.
I think that was fried bread.
4
Day
days.
days.
Fried bread.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, with some ice
But I
and
think
sugar.
same whānau. It was the same
Yeah,
recipe.
same recipe. The cabbage puha.
Neither.
That's why we said hangi.
Okay. Butter, margarine,
Butter.
But
What a question is that?
cream, milk.
Cream. Lactose-free milk.
depend. Milk.
Trifle steam pudding.
Steam pudding with custard.
Okay, with the trimmings, kia ora. And the last one is noho marae hotel.
Hotel, of course. But kaupapa
Both.
Māori, noho marae.
Noho marae at the hotel.
Depends who's paying. The kaupapa is paying, hotel. If I have to pay, marae.
Well, tēnā tātou i tā tātou kōrero i tēnei rangi. He rawe te rongo ki ngā āhuatanga mo te moko, me o tātou, me ngā āhuatanga ki a tātou me te mau moko. Nā reire mihi ana ki a tātou i runga i ngā tini kaupapa kōhara. Mō reira, ka whakairihia te tapu o ngā kōrero ki te tāhu o te whare. Ka puta ki te whaiau, ki te ao mārama, tihei, mauri ora.